Hey everyone, it's Ty bringing you the much requested video on how I have my OBS set up for streaming with overlays. Also, this video will reference my other video on how to use overlays on your PS4 or Xbox without a capture card. So if you get confused about what I'm talking about, take a look at that video for clarification. So the first version of this video that I made, I actually already had everything set up, and basically I just went through and said, okay, you do this with this, you do this with that. And I decided, you know what? I can't stand it when other people on YouTube do that, so I actually uninstalled just about everything, and we're going to set everything up from scratch directly through this tutorial video. So with that said, we're going to actually be kicking this off by downloading all the components we need and setting up all of our accounts to get the live streaming and overlays up and running. Some of the things that you will need at first are going to be the Mac or PC, OBS Studio. There's a plugin for OBS Studio called the CLR Browser plugin. We're going to need Google Chrome, the Streamlabs for the Google Chrome app. That is, if that's something that you want. And then SoundFlower, which is something specifically for the Mac for the audio porting. Now, all of those items are going to be in the description, but we're also going to be going through them right now. So I already have all of the items preloaded into the browser here, and this browser is actually Chrome already. So the first thing that you'll want to do, go ahead and go to the Chrome website, download Chrome, get it installed. Installation is just basic. You download the installer, double click it, it installs, wham bam, you're done. So once you do get Chrome all installed, we'll worry about the Streamlabs once we get to that part, if that's something that you want to do. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to the OBS website. So go ahead and grab that link, and then download the version for your computer, for your Mac, your PC, whichever one you're looking for. We want to get the OBS Studio, which you'll find on the right-hand side of the page. I'm going to go ahead and grab the OS 10 Plus version. We're going to download the latest release. And then once that is done, we're just going to go ahead and open it. Minimize this out of the way so we don't have to watch that. Now my Mac is a little bit older, so it installing may take a little bit longer. The downloads are pretty fast because I have a decent connection, so just bear with me as we go through that. I'm just going to click continue through all this junk. And our password so that we can install the software. So then while that's downloading, or installing, which it's actually done. Now that we have that installed, we're going to go ahead and close out of that page. Next is going to be the Open Broadcaster plugin that we were talking about, the CLR Browser. There is a front page to it. I'm going to go ahead and just drop in the link directly to this multi-platform version, which is the one that you'll need for Studio. If you go with the basic OBS, which this is not a tutorial on the basic OBS, this is the one for the OBS Studio. There's actually a different link for that one. But for the OBS Studio, you're going to want the multi-platform download, which is going to be this one. And then we're going to go with the stable build. All right. And okay, well, thank you very much for that, Chrome. I don't really care. I do know that it's safe. So we're going to go ahead and download that portion. While that is downloading, and actually it's done, we'll go ahead and get that installer going. And I like to multitask, so we're going to go ahead and get that installing, and then we're going to download the SoundFlower also, which is specifically for the Mac. Audio porting, and agree, install. What I really like about the Mac version, especially with this browser plugin, it's just an installer like that. On Windows, when you go through it, you actually have to get the file and you basically extract it to the OBS Studio plugins folder, which, you know what, yes, it's easy, but I like to be able to just double click stuff and be done with it. So now that we have the browser the browser plugin installed, we can close that window. Next, we're going to go ahead and get the SoundFlower software. We'll go ahead and click it. And I guess just real quick on this web page here, It's going to have the different builds, so if you want, you can actually build the program yourself. I like to just grab the DMG or the latest build so that I can just double click it, install it, and be done. So we're going to scroll down to the bottom of the page. We're going to grab SoundFlower, download it. It's already downloaded. So go ahead and open it. And all of these programs are actually opening up on my other monitor, which is the one that you'll see we are going to be using here in just a moment to capture our game, or referencing the last video, our YouTube stream, when we start streaming from our devices to YouTube, and then we're going to capture that data. So we'll give this a moment to do its thing. While it's doing that, we're actually going to go ahead and open up our TwitchAlerts website. So TwitchAlerts, this is what you're going to use for different pop-ups when you get donations, followers, subscribers, those types of things. So we'll go to the TwitchAlerts website. It will actually have you log into your Twitch account, and then from there it has a certain API settings and all that stuff that it goes through with Twitch. So once we get that account set up, and we'll just move that over to the side so we can see when it's done, we shall go to the stream labels section. And then we want to do the download stream labels. Now this connects directly with Google Chrome, so it's not something that it's not an actual program that you download per se on your computer. Instead, you just go add to Chrome, hit the add the app, and then we're just going to go ahead and open it, which it's going to bring in a bunch of information. I'm going to go ahead and get logged in. I have the two-step authentication, so we're going to go ahead and enter in our information there. Get all verified. And then for the Twitch alerts, or the stream labels, you have to choose your output directory. I typically like to do everything to the desktop, that way it's easy to get to. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the desktop, make a new folder, and I'm going to label it appropriately, Twitch Alerts. We're going to create that. We select the folder, and there it goes. And then I'll also explain what that is later. So if you can't, here is the Twitch Alerts folder that it just created. Now Twitch Alerts basically downloads a whole bunch of text files, and I'll show you what we're going to do with that in just a bit. So we're going to go ahead and minimize that for now. And then we actually don't need this page anymore. We'll go ahead and keep Twitch Alerts up because there's some other things that we're going to be using that for when it comes to OBS, and you can have donation tickers and all kinds of cool stuff through your channel. So now we want to open up OBS. In Mac, you can do that, one of two ways. You can use Spotlight Search and do OBS. You can open up your Finder window, go to your applications, double-click OBS, and then we wait for it to open up. And then comes the fun part, getting your overlays and everything set up so that you can start streaming. All right, so from my previous video, you have already seen the setup that I have here. I'm going to go ahead and create a new scene, and we're going to call this, I'm actually going to set up one for, we'll go League of Legends. Okay, we'll go LOL. Once again, this is the one for Rainbow Six. That was a game that I was really big into there for a while. This format right here, it looks kind of strange right now. Let me just move that up there. That cleared it up just so that you can see what's going on there. Move that back to where it's at. So this is what you've seen on the last video. Once again, we're starting up fresh. So in OBS, these are your different scenes. So for instance, if you're switching between games, it makes it really easy. You can just click on the scene that you want, and it will put the appropriate information. So I was playing Rainbow Six, this was what I was using for Rainbow Six. I'm now starting to do some Mac or PC gaming, so we're going to set up a League of Legends one. And so from there, after you create your scene, your OBS will automatically have one named scene. We're going to go to, we're going to go ahead and create a new source. So your sources are where it grabs information from. So we're going to go ahead and do display capture. And I want it to capture the full display of my other monitor, the one that you can't see currently right now, except for through OBS. And as you'll see, if I move my mouse over here, you get the corresponding on the other monitor. So I'm going to go ahead and move this back over here. So now we have our full display capture. This is one of the things that I mentioned in the previous video about streaming from your PS4 and such. We want to do the full display because we want the max resolution when we're rebroadcasting this information. So from here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to add our overlay. So we're going to click on the plus down here, which is our source. Now, if you didn't install the CLR browser like I had previously suggested, you're not going to have this browser source down here. And I'll show you why this is really important here in just a moment. But first, we're going to go ahead and add an image, which is going to be our overlay. And we're going to name it appropriately, overlay. We're going to click on Create New. We'll click on Browse so that we can navigate to our file, which, like I said before, I keep everything on my desktop, or at least a link to it. So I'm going to go to my overlays, and I can go for my overlay orange, or actually, since this one is going to be with League of Legends, I'm actually going to go a little bit different, and I actually have a boot camp session installed on here, so I can run Windows and the Mac software on this Mac, and I'm actually going to go to this overlay. So as you can see, the overlay shows here with nothing in the background. It is a PNG, so all of those spots there are actually transparent. And then you'll see over in the OBS window, it just loads it kind of just in the window. So from here, we're actually going to grab that corner and we're going to make it maximum size so it covers everything. So once we have that, this is how it would look if I started streaming directly to Twitch or to YouTube, those different areas. And it would have the League of Legends. Obviously, you'd want to only start the streaming once you have League of Legends open to this section. And that's why having these different scenes, and you can also transition between them, why that is so important. Because if you're starting a game and you don't want your overlay to be there, you can have one scene, and then once the game starts up, you can click on transition, and then it will bring up the overlay that you want to show while you're actually doing the gameplay. So next from here, I like to be able to have my chat on screen for the viewers that want to watch. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and click on the plus sign so that we can add a source. And we're going to go to browser source. Now this is the fun one. And we're going to say we want and we'll call it the chat box. We'll go ahead and click OK. It's going to ask, where do you want it from? By default, it automatically loads the OBS project page. That's not the one that we want. So we're going to go back to our TwitchAlerts website. We're going to go to our chat box section on the left-hand side here, and we're going to grab this link. It says the URL below in a CLR browser, or you can just launch it. Now, if you're not using the CLR browser, you can click on launch. It will open up a black page, and then you can actually show, would do a window capture on this, and then show that in your OBS. But once again, we like to work smarter, not harder. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to copy this link. We're going to paste it into the URL here. And at first, it's going to show blank because obviously nobody is chatting in the chat. So we're going to go ahead and move this over here, and we're actually going to make this a tad bit smaller. We'll go ahead and actually we'll make it decently big, and I'll show you why here in a moment. So that is primarily transparent, so you don't have to worry about anything. And I'll show you exactly what it looks like by posting a chat on my stream. Even though there's nothing live in there right now, it will still work and it will show on the OBS. So if you're broadcasting your OBS window right now, this is what you would see if someone starts to chat. And you'll see it pop in there. And if you have something like Nightbot that monitors your chat, you can have all different types of things that just pop up. And this would be showing to your audience that's watching the stream. Now, that specific plugin itself, the chat does disappear after a while, so you don't have to worry about any of that. They've already thought of that, which is really cool. So next, I'm going to go ahead and add the alert box. So the alert box is something that will pop up if you get a follower, if you get subscribers, donations, those types of things. We're going to go ahead and we're going to go to the browser source once again. We're going to create it and we're going to call it alert box. That way we can always reference it. Once again, it wants the website page. So we're going to go to alert box. Once again, we're going to grab our link. We're going to copy it. We're going to paste it. We're going to click OK. And it's set up. Now you can position it anywhere that you want on the page. You can put it right smack dab in the middle. I like to put mine in the middle a little bit towards the top, and then we can test it to make sure that it's working. So if your stream is actually running right now, so if you click start streaming, then it will start streaming this information. And if you get a, let's say you get a follower, this is the type of alert that you'll see pop up on the screen. This is what will show on Twitch. This is what your subscribers are going to see, or your followers. So it's pretty neat that you can test all of this, and it lets you know, hey, I mean, it's working. So I think it's really cool that you have the ability to do all this very easily. So those are basically the different alerts. If you're looking to add like a donation ticker or a donation goal, it's the exact same process as you've seen with these other ones. Just go ahead and follow those same routes. You click on plus, browser source, add the link from the Twitch alerts, and boom, you got it there. Now, one of the other things that I had mentioned was the stream labels. The stream labels are very easy to set up, not quite as easy as the browser source to me, but it is still pretty darn easy. And the way that we're going to do it is we're going to click on the plus sign down here, and then we're going to go to text. And from here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to say this is the top donator text. All right, so from here, and we're actually going to change the text to just top donator. That's plain and simple. Just add it there. And let's see, we're going to go ahead and we'll just leave it up here at the top right hand corner. Now, from this text for the top donator, actually I'm going to add a semicolon or a colon in there so that we have some room. Now this obviously is just the label for like a stock type ticker that we want for the stream label. So basically we want this to load who our top donator is, and then we want it to automatically update if we get a different top donator. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add another text field, and we'll put like top donator, and we'll call it the ticker. All right, once again, it's going to load the properties. Now this time, we don't care what this text says. That text does not matter to us because we're actually going to click read from file. And this is where the stream labels directory that's on your desktop, aka the Twitch alerts folder, that's where this really comes into play. So we're going to say we want it to read from a file. We're going to click on browse. From browse, we're going to go to our desktop and we're going to go to our Twitch alerts. And then they've conveniently labeled everything for us already. So we're going to go to the all-time top donator, and we're going to tell it to read whatever information is in there. Because what happens is once you get a new top donator, Twitch Alerts receives that information. It then sends it to our Twitch Alerts stream label program through Chrome that we used. That will then download the text file, put it into the folder. Therefore, your OBS gets updated and everything is updated from there. So once we get that, we're going to click OK. And we'll go ahead and position this right there. So there you go. It shows top donator, the man array, $1. All right, yep, I'm rolling in the Benjamins right now. Actually, I guess I'd be Washingtons. So anyways, now to make it look like a ticker style, and we want it to scroll, because we don't want it to just kind of sit there, you know, you want it to have some type of action, something to draw attention to it. We're going to right click on it, and we're going to select filters. From there, we're going to click on the plus sign. We're going to choose scroll. And we'll just leave the name as scroll because that's exactly what it's going to do. And we're going to change the speed of the scroll. And you can change it to whatever you want. As you can see, it gives you a real-time preview of exactly how fast it would go. If you think you have a bunch of speed readers, I mean, you could take it all the way up. You can have it go the opposite direction if you want to go that way. The opposite direction just seems kind of weird for the position that we have the top donator text. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to change that down to about 40. You know, we'll actually click on this to make it 40. If you want, you can even have it do like a horizontal type thing, or, you know, not too big into that, so I'm just going to leave that exactly where it's at. We're going to click close. And there you go. You now have the scrolling text with stream labels. And as you can see from the files that are in here, and we're actually going to make them a little bit bigger, there's all kinds of different files that you can choose from 30-day donations, follower trains. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff, you know, things for just that session. So feel free to customize that any way that you want. Now, the last thing that we'll have to worry about is where our audio is going to come from. So as I had told you in a previous video, from grabbing the session from YouTube, because this basically, the screen that we have over here where you can see my mouse is now going through OBS, this is the screen that we open up YouTube in, and that we're going to start the streaming from. So let me go ahead and show a preview of basically what that would look like. YouTube, we'll go ahead and go there, and we'll look up LOL gameplay. All right, and we have all kinds of just stuff in there. We'll wait for this to go through. Oh, you gotta love ads on YouTube. Well, while we're waiting for that, we'll go ahead and toss it over here. All right, so you can now see that on the OBS over here, that I do have my own very specific overlays here, and it's not showing quite right on his because obviously I'm streaming somebody else's page. But this is basically what you would do for the PS4, just for your specific game. We're going to go ahead and exit that, otherwise this may get a little confusing. So I'm going to go ahead and close that. But anyways, one of the big things is the audio porting. And that was something that I had mentioned, because when you open that, if you notice, you likely couldn't hear any of the audio that was going on from that page. So what we have to do is we have to tell the computer, okay, I want you to take the audio that's coming through the speakers and route it back into OBS so that it goes out to the stream. And what we'll do for that, and that's where SoundFlower comes in. We're going to click on the plus sign here. We're going to go to audio output capture, because it's the audio out that we want to capture. And we're just going to leave the name exactly how it is. Then we're going to tell it the device is SoundFlower 64, just because I like the higher 64 channel. And boom, there you go. One other thing I would highly suggest is turning the mic auxiliary all the way down. Otherwise, if you're playing your PlayStation, Xbox, whatever, next to the computer that is streaming or broadcasting your information, it's going to pick up your audio too if you have a built-in microphone. So turn that down. Don't forget to do that. Now for the audio capture, as you can see, it placed a little thing up here in the top corner. That actually does not matter because it's just capturing the audio. So once you set that up, the last change that you'll have to make before you start streaming is you have to let your Mac know that you want its output to go to that 64 channel from SoundFlower. And the way that you do that is up here in the menu bar. You don't just click the volume. What you have to do is you have to hold down the Option key, and the Option key will give you the different output sources that you can use. What you do, you hold down the Option key, click, and then you choose SoundFlower. I'm not going to choose it now because I don't want it to mess up the audio that I currently have going with you guys. So you just Option click, choose SoundFlower 64, boom, you're done. Okay, so now that we have the audio porting, everything else set up, the last thing that we actually need to do is set up where we're going to stream our information to. So it's nice to have all of this, but if you can't stream it somewhere, it makes no sense. So I personally like to stream to multiple sources, and you can actually do that with an amazing site called restream.io. So I'll go ahead and set that up right now. This is actually keeping the preferences from the last time that I had it, so I'm going to go ahead and click on custom streaming server, see if we can get that to let us go there. All right, perfect. So that information is clear. So we're going to go ahead and click on, or we're going to go to restream.io, and it actually already has my information in here because I've logged into this site multiple times. Let me go ahead and log out so you can see exactly what it looks like when you first get there. So you'll come to a page like this. If you don't have an account, go ahead and sign up. Other than that, if you already do have one, click on sign in. I'm going to go ahead and get logged in with my information, and it will bring you to this very simple page. What you do is, yours won't have any of these options here, but you'll go to click to add your channel. You'll choose whatever it is that you want to connect to. So if you choose Twitch, it'll ask you to log in with your Twitch account, which I only have the one Twitch account. I don't need another one, so I'm not going to pay for services I don't need. You can add your YouTube, Hitbox, Ustream. As you can see, there are a ton of different places that you can send your information to. And basically what this service does is it takes the feed that you're sending from OBS. When you broadcast from OBS, it goes directly to this site. And then this site takes your information and sends it to all of these other ones. So it makes it so that you don't have to try to find a different way to use OBS to stream to multiple services. Instead, you just stream to one specific service and you're good to go. So in order to set this up through OBS, when you open up your settings, which I'm pretty sure you watched me click settings, and then it brings up general, we're going to go to stream. And Restream isn't under the streaming services, so we will have to set up a custom streaming server. From there, it's going to ask for the URL, which on the Restream website is right here. It's the RTMP URL. We're just going to Control-C or copy that. Going to go back to OBS. We're going to paste it in there. And then we want to grab the stream key. The stream key is very important because if you logged in and somebody else gets a hold of this, they can then start streaming whatever they want to all of these services right here. So from there, we'll go back to OBS. We're going to paste our stream key in there. We don't need to use authentication because Restream isn't going to ask us to, or ask OBS to log in when we do it. So we're going to click OK. And there we go. It is now set up to start streaming. And what we can do to show you exactly how well this works, I can go ahead and click on Start Streaming. OBS will start connecting, and there, my desktop is now streaming to, or at least this information that you're seeing right here is now streaming to all these different services. And then Restream will start to broadcast, and as you can see, it's connecting to Twitch, it's connecting to Hitbox, it's connecting to Ustream. Ustream, for some reason, doesn't really show that it's connecting as fast as the other ones. It takes a little while to do that. I would click on YouTube right now, but the last thing I want to do is have everybody receive a pop-up notification right now for all the subscribers to this channel that it says, hey, I'm live streaming. I really don't want to bug you guys unless you want to look at the video right now. So we'll wait for that to go through, and then we're actually going to go to, Twitch so that you can see how this is going. And we're going to go to my channel. And there it is. There's the desktop. You're seeing it perfectly right there. Everything is working, as you can see. There is a slight delay, obviously, because it's streaming from my source to another and then to this. Even if so, there's always going to be a slight delay, which is good, because if somebody's watching your stream, you don't want them knowing exactly what you're doing at that time. So there you go. That concludes the tutorial. If there's anything that I did not go into depth enough for you, or any other information that you may need or that I may have missed, please let me know in the chat. I'm pretty good about getting back to you once I do get that. But besides that, enjoy and happy streaming.